This is page 67 in our notes, continuing on with Geometry 1. This time we're working on area of trapezoids. Trapezoids, you need to know what types of shapes make trapezoids. So some trapezoids kind of look like this. What makes them a trapezoid? They only have one set of parallel sides, so the bottom and the top are parallel. Or you may see trapezoids that look like that. So you've got one set of parallel sides, like the top and the bottom of both of these are parallel to each other. What did we learn about trapezoids after watching our video? So first off, I want to draw one here that is going to take up these blue lines here. And then this comes over like so. And so what we learned about the trapezoid in the video is your height coming straight down makes a right angle here. It actually also makes a right angle down below here. You have your base, we call it base sub 1 here, base sub 2 or base 1 and base 2. I don't care how you read it. You're actually supposed to say base sub 1. So if you would like to, you could say base with the 1. We read it and put it in quotes. We read it as base sub 1 or B sub 1, but I'm okay with calling it B1 and B2. So then B2 is the same thing as saying base sub 2. So you have two bases. They are the ones that are parallel to each other. So you can make your lines almost look like an equal sign. You got both your lines. They're the ones that are parallel to each other. Your height is the one that makes a right angle. It makes a right angle with both bases. However, they might only show it with one of them. What we learned in the video is if you double this trapezoid and then flip it over and you place it next to this one here, going over here, you're going to make one giant parallelogram. And so that diagonal is the same as that diagonal. And so it's like doubling this one here, and then they make it, and they double it up. And so you've got double the trapezoid so that you have one giant parallelogram and then divide by 2 at the end to figure out the area of just the one trapezoid. So a couple things you need to know with trapezoids. Just put a star here. Your bases, how do you identify your bases? Your bases are going to be parallel to each other. They are parallel to each other. Once you figure out which ones your bases are, those are the ones that you're going to add together. So you add your bases together. The height, put a star here, the height makes a right angle with both bases. The height makes a right angle with both of the bases. A lot of times they'll only put the right angle with one of them, but since the bases are parallel, it's the one that makes the right angle. So the height is the one that you're multiplying by. So your bases are parallel to each other. They're the ones that you add. And then your height makes the right angle with the bases, and that's the one that you multiply. Oops, forgot the other parenthesis here. So what's our formula to find the area of a trapezoid? And we will learn this formula. We will write it. We will say it a lot. Area of trapezoid. Let me draw a little trapezoid here. Equals, and some people like to say it differently. They like to call it base sub 1 plus base sub 2 times the height, then divide by 2. Or the way you might see it written, 1/2 times the height times your bases that you have to add together. So you will see it written both ways. A lot of students prefer the first way I showed you, but you might see it written the second way. So why do both of these work for the formula? 1/2 times the height times both bases added together, or add the bases together first, times it by the height, then divide by 2. So going back to our drawing up here, put some stars in our notes. You flip and use, move this up a little bit. You flip and use 2 trapezoids to make a large, this is a parallelogram that we end up making. So we have to add both bases, that's our B1 plus B2, to get the entire base of the one large parallelogram. Then you have to multiply by the height. The height, it makes a right angle with both of the bases. So once you get the area of the one large parallelogram, we only want the area of one trapezoid, so we have to divide by 2. So then you will divide by 2, or some people call it multiply by 1/2, to get the area of one trapezoid. And if we need to watch that video again to help explain, that was explaining that video that you saw. So now we just need to practice trapezoids. We need to practice seeing them, what to do with them, so that you feel confident when you see a trapezoid, you know how to find its area. So the first example I have, first off I need to draw our trapezoid. It's 2 lines down, over a little bit, 2 lines down this way, and then trace our blue line. We have a trapezoid. We have 2 cm on the top, 6 cm on the bottom. They make a diagonal line straight down here. There's a right angle up here. It also makes a right angle down here. And this one right here is 4 centimeters. So this is a trapezoid. How do you find the area of a trapezoid? First thing I want you to do, area of a trapezoid, is I want you to write the formula. Our formula is to add both base 1 plus base 2 together. So we put that in parentheses. Then you're going to times it by the height, and then you're going to divide it by 2. So since I've written the formula, I'm going to put the blanks there. Inside the parentheses, I have blank plus blank times the height, and then you're going to divide it by 2. So how do we fill in the blanks? Which ones are our bases? Our bases are the ones that are parallel to each other. Those are the ones we add. They're the ones that are tracing the blue lines. They're both going in the same directions. So our 2 and our 6 are our bases. We will add those. Our height makes the right angle. So it goes there. 2 plus 6 is 8. 8 times 4, and then you have to divide by 2. 8 times 4 is 32, and when I divide by 2, that's going to give me 16 centimeters squared. It is area, so I will label it squared. Move this up. I'd like to do another example here. Example number 2. This one is 3 blue lines down, 1, 2, 3. Go over about that far. Diagonal coming down to that blue line, and then come back tracing this blue line. The top says 3 centimeters. This side says 5 centimeters. The bottom is 6 centimeters, and there is a right angle right here. So this is a trapezoid. You have a parallel and a parallel, so it only has one set of parallel sides, the top and the bottom. Those are the two that we're going to add together. So let's write our formula. Our formula, area of a trapezoid equals parentheses base 1 plus base 2, close parentheses, times the height divided by 2. So now that you've written it, let's fill in our blanks. Parentheses, blank plus blank times the height, and then we're going to divide all that by 2. You need to fill in the right numbers here in the blanks. Remember, the bases that we add together are the two that are parallel. They're both running the same direction, so that would be our 3 and our 6. Our height makes a right angle with both bases. It's here. It's also up here. Our height is 5. And now you're ready to just do like order of operations. 3 plus 6 is 9. So then you've got 9. You got to take it times 5 still, and then divide by 2. 9 times 5 is 45. 45 divided by 2. Your answer is 22.5 centimeters squared. You're going to write the formula, fill in the blanks, and you can use a calculator if you need to. On this particular assignment today, you are not doing any trapezoid homework. We're going to give you kind of a day to think about these notes. You're going to review. So your homework today is going to be a worksheet. The front is called Reteaching 9-4, you are going to do numbers 1 through 4 on it. Skip down and do numbers 10 through 13. That means you're doing 4 and 4, which means you're doing 8 problems on the front. And then that's the front. And then on the back, that's called practice 9-4. And you're going to do all on it. So this particular homework is not on trapezoids. It's a review of triangles and parallelograms. And so this is just your first day of seeing trapezoid notes. We're going to continue those tomorrow.